Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. We want to thank you guys for coming here at quite short notice. But earlier this morning, Tony Babauta, former Assistant Secretary and Congressional Delegate Candidate, and his Chairman, Sonny Orsini, former Senator Sonny Orsini, gave us a call about 2:30 this morning to go ahead and set up the process for concession, and that was done this morning. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce both congressional delegate candidates, former Assistant Secretary Tony Babauta and Congresswoman Madeleine Bordallo, for this afternoon's press conference.
Johnny's going first, I'm going first. Good afternoon. A few months ago, I had a very difficult conversation with this woman sitting next to me. Difficult because I have the greatest amount of respect for her career as a public servant to our community and island, but most especially because she has always given my family and me the utmost respect, and more importantly, her friendship. But I desired to be a choice for Guam's future after much encouragement from some of the more than 5,500 of our constituency that chose change. To them and my campaign team, I thank you for your trust, your votes, and most especially your confidence. The choice to compete against an incumbent who has also earned the hearts, sentiment, and loyalty of our people was always a choice that itself was forged in part by her own mentorship, her guidance, encouragement, and counsel. Congresswoman, I hope that despite the challenge to your incumbency, that I have made you proud. Because our records in Washington are intertwined, and you have always brought out the best in me. And I hope you feel that my challenge to your seat also brought out the best in you. You ran an incredible campaign equal only to your graciousness. And I believe that the Democratic fire to fight for our people burns brighter with you today. If I'm not mistaken, 6,000 more voters came out for this primary race than in her previous contests. That's 6,000 additional voters, both young and old, who have taken an interest in how important the thoughts and decisions of our island's leaders affect their daily lives and their future. I am happy for that, and I will continue to encourage our people to involve themselves in the political process. Now, despite the few barbs that are traded during any worthwhile campaign, today, Madeleine, my family and I, as well as my supporters, not only join you on the high road, but lock arms with you so that we can re-elect Madeleine Z. Bordallo as our voice in the nation's capital. Madeleine, you are an islander, and you do have federal experience, and you do have seniority. And the future of Guam is far too important to allow your work that you have carried out for our people not continue for another term in office as our Congresswoman. Today, as a proud islander who knows one thing or another about the federal government, but an even prouder Democrat, I congratulate you on a well-run race, and I pledge that we are stronger together than we are disunited. Viva Madeleine!
Tony, thank you very much. I guess I'll just talk about a little bit about our families. We've known each other for years and years. Tony worked for me when he was still in high school. And also Sonny Orsini, his chair. And so these two guys I know very well. I know their parents. Mr. and Mrs. Babauta were my agate leaders until we started this campaign. And of course they had to switch over.
I had to convince them.
They love their son. But let me say this, Tony ran a very strong campaign. He did come to see me as a courtesy to tell me that he was running. I was a little shocked, but later on I took it as him having an ambition to to focus on something else and to run. I know in his veins he wants to be in politics. So, but his campaign brought to focus many issues that have affected our community over the years. And I appreciated his enthusiasm, but I think I taught him a lot. And his hard work. And I commend him for his willingness to serve our community. And I want you to know that early this morning, he did concede this election. And I appreciate that as well. Running for public office, everybody in this room knows, is not an easy thing. I've been through it so many times. But Tony has been a proud son of Guam who has spent his career in Washington addressing some of our issues. So he, along with myself, we know what the problems are for Guam, and I want to thank him today for his support and his endorsement. And I look forward to working with him over the next several weeks to ensure that we continue to build our progress for Guam. I think from the looks of this election, people want the Democrats back in office. Not just with the delegate race, but also with the mayor's race and the senatorial race. So let's say it. Viva Democrats!
Viva! Viva!
Thank you. Thank you, and si Jus Masi.
But we do want to acknowledge the Democratic Party of Guam State Chairman, Mr. Wakinti Paris.
And he was neutral.
So Ken, go ahead. A few words, especially the post-election results in the past.
One of the policies of the Democratic Party is never to take sides before the primary. And that's just to be fair to all of our candidates. And in this election, it was really hard. I've worked for her for 20 years. So that made it even more difficult. But you know, on Thursday, at the JJ dinner, the Democrats signed a unity pledge, all of the candidates. And these two were at the forefront. So, as Democrats, we are positive that we are going to bring out the vote. And we did it with this primary. In the general, it's going to be even more. And I look forward not only to getting the Congresswoman reelected, but to getting a supermajority in the legislature and a majority of the mayors. So, other than that, I don't know what to say. I worked for her for 20 years, so.
Vice Speaker Benjamin Cruz.
I've worked for her for 40 years. And as a proud Democrat, I'm glad to be here to endorse her candidacy in November. And as we said on Thursday, we are stronger together, and we are together, and we will be strong, not only to send Madeleine back to Washington, but to have a majority of senators, maybe a super majority, and most especially a majority of the mayors, so that we can be stronger for 2018 also. So thank you very much, and thank you, Madeleine, for your leadership, and we're still behind you.
Well, definitely hats off to the delegate, Madeleine Z. Bordallo, whom I've known for a better part of my life. And the early part of my life, I had the opportunity of working for her along with my good friend, Tony Babauta. And so, we've learned a lot. But, apparently, as the saying goes, you can't beat the master. So with that in mind, we stand four square, as the chairman of our party has said, and the good Vice Speaker Benjamin Cruz has mentioned, that we stand firmly behind Delegate Madeleine Z. Bordallo and all Democratic candidates to secure the majority, if not a super majority in the legislature, so that we can command the agenda to help the people of Guam, and also equally important to also win the races in the mayoral races so that we can help the people who most need it. Thank you very much, and our heartfelt congratulations to a fine Democrat, a fine resident of this great territory, and a wonderful leader. My heart goes to Madeleine Z. Bordallo. Undongtul na sa Zusmasi.
Viva Bordallo!
Viva!
Viva Bordallo!
Viva!
Viva Babauta!
Viva!
Babauta!
Viva!
Viva Guam!
Viva!
Viva Democrat!
Viva!
Okay, I guess that's it. It's getting cool now.
Yeah.